There we go. Hello, everyone. Thanks again for joining to another live stream episode for our Visual Studio Code channel. Really excited today with our guest that's coming up. So I'm not going to take too much time messing around here at the very beginning. But hello, good morning, and good afternoon, good evening, no matter depending on what time zone you are in, everyone. Um, our guest today is Adam Smeets, and I want to go ahead and bring him up right now. Adam, how are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much. Appreciate the opportunity to be here today.
Great. So you're a senior product manager here at Microsoft, right?
Yes, yeah, I work on the Visual Studio Code for Education team. Super honored to be part of the group, and we develop solutions that work directly with schools and organizations.
Nice, nice. So what are we going to be seeing today? I'm coming with a blank slate. So
Yeah,
education.
no worries. Yeah, the title was quite elusive. We saw many chats coming in early around coding Python in a haunted house. And it was nice to see folks plugging in all the different places that they've coded in Python or places they'd like to see it. But we're going to show you a tutorial and kind of walkthrough experience of using Python in browser. And so not using an extension from either the Python organization or using it on the desktop version. So a lot of the tools that we create and work for are for teachers or students in classrooms or learners at home that want a quick way to start coding or learn how to coding at the same time. So we created this tutorial in honor of the upcoming Halloween holiday to get folks excited about a new opportunity with Python.
Nice, nice. All right, well, let's go ahead and take a look. We have a few people dropping in right now. Deepinger Sign and SMU 16475. Thank you guys for joining. But let's go ahead and take a peek.
Yeah, let me go ahead and give you just a quick overview of what Spooky Manor is. It's built on Visual Studio Code, which has been a great partner with us, and we love the platform. It's self-guided, so students, learners, or anybody who's interested in learning Python can jump on in. And it's great for all experience levels. So if you're like Python, a snake, an animal from a zoo, I don't know what you're talking about, all the way through folks who are seasoned Python editors. And there's three options available that I'll show you within the Spooky Manor game, which is you can either build through a tutorial process of actually making the Spooky Manor. You can create your own game from scratch, or you can just play the game because you want to play it and have some fun. But our goal in the end is really that folks develop an interest in coding and collaboration overall. So let's go ahead and I'll pull it up for you.
Cool. So quick question, like what was the spark that gave this idea like energy to like be developed compared to like regular video tutorials?
No, that's great. Good question. You know, we have a course available in Visual Studio Code for Education right now called Introduction to Python. And we heard from teachers and students that it's a great course. It's just, it's a long time commitment in terms of if you want to use the whole course, you might need a semester or a quarter to deliver the material. And teachers were looking for a quick way to get students excited about Python, where if they had 30 minutes in a class or 25 minutes in a class, what could they try? And this is a great introduction for us into offering these types of courses or these types of tutorials more frequently. So this is the first of many to come for folks to try out. But great question. Thanks for asking.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
Let me pull up the home screen here. So on the home screen, you should be able to see this on your side. Just to confirm out on that.
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, so what you're looking at right now is the landing page of Visual Studio Code for Education. And I talked about we have an Intro to Python course available, but we also have Spooky Manor, and I'll pull up that right now, which is Uncovering the Haunted Mysteries. And when folks first come along into the game, we have, as I said, these three major sections: the opportunity to use a tutorial to build your own Spooky Manor, the opportunity to create, or the opportunity to play. And along the way, we guide students through a storyline. And when I say students, I do mean learners. Everyone is a lifelong learner and a lifelong student. So you'll hear me use that, and I mean that interchangeably. We have a storyline about that you're an adventurer who's in a spooky world and it's a dark night, and your friends basically left a movie theater, and out of the blue comes this building that showed up. And you walk through the doors and you realize the house isn't what it said it was. and that you have to be able to escape the manor and rescue your friends, and also find the hidden secrets that are stored throughout. But you have to make sure to avoid the ghosts that are hidden throughout the house. And so what we'll do, I thought, is we can go ahead and build Spooky Manor together as a way to show folks what's possible within the platform.
Okay.
So along the left-hand side, you'll see that we have each of the steps lined up for students and for different learners. So if we go in, you'll see here that we provide the instructions along the way. And if you're a user of Visual Studio Code, you'll probably notice that we have a brand new panel along the left-hand side of our table of contents, which basically gives you access to materials that looks like a textbook or a course text that you might find. But we also provide what's familiar, the Visual Studio Code editor along the right-hand side, and our use of the terminal. For ease of use and seeing it in this broadcast, I'm going to go ahead and put this tab next to our content just so we can see that material. We provide different measures to help folks understand, like, wow, things just popped up on the screen, but also different classes and things that we've created to help students to do this. So you'll notice we provide step-by-step instructions, but our first step we provide for students is really to copy and paste the code. And folks may think, copying and pasting the code doesn't seem like actually coding, but what we're doing is we're actually teaching you about how to use the code, the structure, and with Python, the spacing in particular and indentation is super important. So I'm going to copy our first line of code and go ahead and paste it into our game. From there, you'll get some information about what's a comment, because again, we have a hash symbol that was included, as well as now defining rooms in our location. So I'm going to make our first room within our game. And our first room is the front door. So we've defined that variable front door. And essentially we're going to put some copy at the end of it, which is you're standing outside of the manor at the front door, and you notice that it's locked.
Okay, and just to remind some people that are just joining, so this is a text-based game that you're showing us how to create as a learning process, right?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. We're creating a text-based game, and basically we're going through each of these steps. The first is to create the structure, and that's a great reminder. Thanks so much for that. In a text-based game, you have to define rooms or locations, and then from there, how those rooms connect together, right? So when someone is actually playing your game, they're using the keyboard to navigate, and it's a good foil for if you had a choose your own adventure textbook or book, and you had to turn to page 14 to see if something happened. It's very similar, except using text-based commands within the game. And so this is also one of the things we've heard from folks when they're learning Python is a way to work with loops and conditions and a bunch of other things like logic that help students understand what they're working with within the product. So we actually guide you through each step of the way. And so this is the first one within that. Thanks for the follow-up question.
Yeah, you know, what's really cool about this is that there's a lot of people that are just focused on regular just video games, but there used to be a time period where text-based games were pretty popular. And I feel like this is a nice bridge to address two issues. One, to get someone interested in a game where you're actually reading and getting your mind into this new world, right? And still having fun. And it's like an interactive form of reading instead of just like reading a book. And at the same time, you're doing this while you're learning how to code. So I feel like it's addressing two important things right there, you know?
Yeah, this is basically the vinyl, right? Like vinyl's having its resurgence right now and coming back. And I think we're starting to see that, yes, coding video games is awesome, has great benefits. This is another form of a video game where you can express your creativity through code, whether it's choosing the narrative of the story that you're creating, the map and the rooms and all the different things that you're doing, you're still in control of that player's experience within the game. And I think one other piece I'd tack onto that is it also gives folks who may not be a developer, a coder, or interested in code the opportunity to still be part of the process, right? They can express their creativity through who are the players, where are things stored, what does the map look like? You can bring design and art into the experience too. So it's a great way to bring folks together.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So I'm just going to go through a couple of these steps, and then I figure we can play the game and take a peek at how it works,
Okay.
and give folks kind of a tease of what Spooky Manor looks like inside. In the map process, where we're actually bridging these rooms together, we've pre-created for us front door, hallway, kitchen, garage, and it looks just like essentially this map that we've provided. Again, this is the tutorial for folks that want to follow step by step to build this location, to really get their feet wet in the process first. So you'll notice we have symbols for a key, which means that there's a key that's required to open that room, a lock that means that the door entering that space is locked, or a picture of a friend who is hiding somewhere in that building, and a ghost that if you go into that location, your game will end. And then the trophy, which indicates that you're at the last room of the game. And essentially, these are all the elements that when you go to create your own game, you can customize and tailor. And Ian, one of the engineers on our team, had some great insight that it doesn't even have to be a haunted house that you create. You could be on a different planet or jumping from planet to planet. This code allows you to have complete flexibility of whatever adventure-based game you would want to create. Nice. But for our purposes, this is what we provided for this tutorial example. Let me go ahead and show, we also have some keys that we put in, but I'm going to jump to showing the game itself so folks can see. Again, we provide step-by-step instructions to go through this, as well as sample blocks, so students are never in a space, or anyone who's coding or learning this process doesn't have to feel lost or confused at any point, and we provide you with all the steps to go through that. But let me go to the play part, okay, because that's where the fun happens, for sure, as well as in the code. So if you've used VS Code on the desktop, you'll notice that you probably had to install a Python extension to run this. But using the web version, when you click run, we actually make that all available within the browser with no additional installation, no setup or configuration. It's ready to work. So this is a big differentiator when it comes to using Python in the browser, that nothing else has to be installed when you go. Okay. But starting out, you'll see this is our text. And for those that are having flashbacks to text-based games, this definitely has it. We provide the script at the beginning. And then I'm going to ask if you want to play along. You have 4 choices. Right now, we're standing outside the front door of the manor, and there's a lock on the door, and there's something under the welcome mat. And you'll always have 4 choices. 1, looking around for clues, moving to another room, reminding yourself where you are, and 4th, if you give up and you just want to get out of the manor before you get caught by the ghost. So I'll let you choose where you'd like to go.
Let's look around for clues.
Great choice. So what I will do is I'll click inside the terminal and enter number 1. And I get that you're now standing outside the door, and you are now the hallway to your north. And as you look around, you found a hallway key, but it's starting to rain. And so we have to get back inside before we get soaked. So now you have those same 4 choices again, but you have a key that you didn't have before. So what would you like to do now?
So I have the key right now.
Yeah, you have a key now, and you're standing outside in the rain.
Okay, so let's move to another room.
Awesome. And so right now, we provide the directionality, and we know that the only place we can go is the hallway to the north. So we'll go ahead and do the north.
Okay.
And in the green text, it says you've unlocked the door with your hallway key, which is perfect. So we're now in the hallway, but the door slams shut behind us. So now we're inside, and the hallway's dark except for light shining in from underneath the bedroom door. So we also are reminded that 3 of our friends are hiding somewhere in the building, and we have to find them before we leave. So we, again, have our 4 choices. We can look around, we can move to another room, or we can give up and head on out of Spooky Manor, whichever you'd like to try.
Well, then let's look around for clues again.
All right, let's look for some more clues. All right, this time you found a closet key. The closet is to the, excuse me, to the north. The front door is to the south, because we just came through that. The kitchen is to our east, and the office is to the west. So where would you like to go with that closet key?
All right, I could move to another room. Now, if it was me alone, I would probably look for more clues to see if I could exhaust that. But for time's sake, why don't we move to another room?
Perfect. So if you are going to go, I think you had said the closet, that would be to the north. So we'll go ahead and do north. And so you unlocked the closet key, or unlocked the door with the closet key, and you notice that it's stuffed full of files and boxes all the way to the ceiling, and you can barely fit inside, or can you? So do you want to look around for clues, or do you want to step back out of the closet?
Well, look around for clues.
Yeah, let's take a peek. And you found your friend Hazel. So you have now found one of your friends who is hiding. And now we'll go ahead and we'll just step out of that room because you found your friend Hazel, which is awesome. So we're back in the hallway, and I'm going to give you just the directions to let you know where you are again. We are in the hallway, and our kitchen is to the east, and to the west is the office. So where would we want to check out next, do you think?
Let's go to the office.
The office. So we'll go to the west. Okay, so that room is locked, so we can't get into the office. So we can try another room. We'll try maybe the kitchen.
Yeah.
Let's check out the kitchen. The kitchen is full of dirty dishes and is really smelly, but you hear something moving around near the oven.
Then let's look around for clues.
Let's see if we can find that. You found your friend Kathleen, who is hiding near the oven. Awesome job. And now we found two of our friends. We need one more before we can escape. And off the kitchen is the garage. So maybe we should check out the garage.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's take a peek. We'll go to the east. And now we're in the garage. There's a car in here, and it's covered with a tarp, but it's been moved. What should we do next?
Let's look around for clues.
Let's take a look around. You found your last friend, Collins. Awesome. And we found an office key. So this is one of the last keys that we need in order to escape the manor. And you'll notice we have some text here that says we have 0 more friends before we can escape. So we have all of our friends. We have all of our keys. So we should probably try to get out of Spooky Manor, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Let's move back to the west. So now we're back in the kitchen. We'll move again back into the hallway. So now we've unlocked the door with the key we already had for the hallway. Now maybe we go to the office. So let's move over to the office. We'll continue going west. All right, so we use that key, and the office is full of open books, papers all over the floor. There's a computer on the desk, but it's password protected. So to the north of us, we have the library, if you remember what was in the library. And then to the west of us, we have the bedroom, and the bedroom is the exit. So you can choose to explore the library, or you can choose to go to the bedroom. Where would you like to go?
Check out the library.
Let's check out that library to the north. Okay, so you walked into the library. It's very dark, it's dusty, and very cold. You could see your breath. There's many bookshelves with only one book in the room. Do you want to look around for clues or move to another room?
Clues.
Clues. Let's take a peek. Oh no, you ran into the owners of the manor, the ghosts. You run out of the building as fast as you can, and when you return in the morning, the manor has disappeared. It's now a pile of rubble, and it says, "Coming soon, apartments." So you were captured by the VS Code for EDU ghosts in the library because in our map, and again, I realize I tricked you on this, but in the library, we had a ghost who was hiding. So if you went into the library, then the game would end. So man. I hope that was a fun exercise, a little throwback activity for going through Spooky Manor.
Yeah, this is cool, man. I like that. I remember there was a game called Ultima 4, and they gave us a map, where you're able to do your game. No, that one was not. I think it began as all text-based, actually. I can't remember now. It's like so long ago. But it's pretty cool to have like these like tools that you could use along. If it was like if I'm doing a game like this, I would probably have the map right, like a screenshot of a map like on another monitor while I'm like playing along. But this is pretty cool to be able to just like code this yourself as a process of learning to code, and then in the end it's like you've created a game, and who knows what bridge that leads to creating more advanced games too.
Exactly, and we're really zoomed for this live session, but we provide the reference map at all times so you can easily find that. And we had heard from student learners that they wanted to create their own game and not necessarily follow the step-by-step tutorial. And so for more advanced learners, we provide some suggestions of how you could do it, and then also the reference code. So you can just build your own game, and we provide you the base for it. So you can make whatever you want your Spooky Manor to do. You don't have to use friends. They could be pets. They could be anything that you want to hide in a location. We provide that available for folks to use as they wish. So this gives a great opportunity to build your own game at the same time.
That's awesome.
The last thing I wanted to share on
real quick, Rodrigo would like to know, what font are you using in your editor?
This is the great question of the day. I know that we are using just the default font that comes with VS Code because we have many discussions about accessibility. And so accessibility is one of the pillars of VS Code and VS Code for Education. So we're using the font that's the base that supports all screen readers and also for individuals with accessibility.
Nice. Okay, I'm checking to see what other people had mentioned.
Great questions.
Comments. I got all wrapped up in the game. Sorry, folks.
No worries.
I ignored we had an audience here.
Look for clues.
Yeah. Paffin was asking if we could have a theme for Halloween. He loves spooky themes. And yes,
you can select your own theme within the VS Code editor as well. So you could definitely, I think I have Dracula as one of my themes that's set as well for another session too.
Even for the online editor, are you able to? I'd actually never tried to change the theme on the online editor. I imagine you could, right?
Yeah, you can go into color themes, and then you can pick, and again, you can pick red, any of these others, but you can also search for additional themes, just like you can on the desktop editor for VS Code as well. Yep.
Cool. And switching the themes right now, during the game, doesn't screw it up in any way, right?
Nope. So you can change that theme. I just changed it to our light theme as one of the options. But you can easily change it over to any other theme that's based on your preference, based on what works best for you. So even high contrast support right out of the box as well.
No Halloween themes out there?
There are, yeah. So when you go into browse other themes, again, I'm not promoting any one of these resources based on this, but you can even do, again, if you choose to do an extension, but you'll see it turn purple there for a second. Dracula is one of the Halloween themes that we see folks doing. It turns into a purple now instead of the others that we saw. But yeah, there's a lot of theme support for the holiday coming up. Definitely.
That's cool. All right. Looks like a full-fledged version. And also, don't forget Zork, according to T. Kamaski. I guess that's another
text. Don't forget what? I'm sorry.
Zork. Does that sound familiar to you?
Yes. Yeah. Another text-based explorer. Yeah. Another one that's great. And the one thing I'll mention is oftentimes folks saving files as they go from machine to machine. Using VS Code for Education in this game, we save your progress in our site the whole time. So you can go from computer to computer and your code is always with you. So it's a great opportunity to be able to pick up and go on any machine that you're using and reconnect with this or any of your other project work that you're creating.
Very cool. Very cool.
Awesome. So yeah, I think the last selfish plug I will use based on this is just as a reminder to folks that we do have an Intro to Python course. It's a multi-unit, takes someone through from start to finish learning Python. It's written by Dr. Bart, who's a faculty member at the University of Delaware. And we have another course coming up soon, Introduction to Web Development, which is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to help students go from start to finish based on learning how to design websites.
What format is this? Sorry.
No, it's okay. No, please.
No, after you. No, after you. No, after you.
I was just going to say it's available on our website. All good. I know. Yeah.
What format is this course in? Is it all text-based also, or?
Yeah, so it actually takes you through, and I'll just show briefly here for reference. It takes you through what is computer science, and then we take students through understanding what is Python, but you actually end up doing a set of code challenges where you're writing Python in the browser and we're checking for accurate code. Does it accomplish the task that's being asked for? And we also do questions to help you check for your understanding as you go through the lessons. So it's meant to be this bridge of learning new materials, double checking that you understand the material you had, and then also writing programs at the same time. So you go all the way through all the major sections. There's close to 100 different lessons that are included in this overall course. And again, it's free of charge and open to anyone with a Microsoft account or a login account at this point.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll switch back over here. Thanks. There was great questions. Any other questions that came up from chat that folks had?
Let's see. The online version. This online
yes,
version
it is a preview. Correct. Yeah, that's a great follow-up. It is a preview. Our production becoming part of general availability will be in this coming August. So that'll be when it's in full GA and available for use. But again, the product's open. We're welcoming feedback and quickly making updates and modifications based on feedback we're receiving too. But yes, thank you for the reminder that it's a preview.
So any other games in the future you guys are currently working on, or you're just focused on this one right now?
So this one we just finished up and launching for this time period, and then we're going to have a winter focused activity that folks can do, probably involving snowballs in some way, shape, or form, as well as some others that are coming up. But our goal is to have at least one of these per month that we have as part of a rotation that folks can go to as a catalog of games, but ones that are not just make this game, but ones that you can use outside of the tutorial for your own uses as a special project or as a sandbox activity. It's a great question. Awesome, Rodrigo. Thank you so much. Teaching code to students especially can be challenging, especially if you're looking for some tools that can provide that assistance and resource. And the great thing about working with Visual Studio Code for Education is that as a teacher, you don't have to install Visual Studio, maintain updates, patches, or fixes. And it looks like Reynald may have been kidnapped by our ghosts in Spooky Manor at this point, so we'll have him join us back here in just a few minutes. But just as a reminder, that's sometimes often the biggest challenge in the classroom is getting devices all on the same page, set up and looking and functioning the same way. And this, if you just provide your students with a website address, are immediately all in the same experience, the same setup, the same configuration. And we're also putting together lesson plans and resources that can support your work in the classroom as well. So Rodrigo, thank you so much for that feedback. It's an awesome thing to hear. Oh, great. No, it's not strictly Python. So we're also working on, in our intro to HTML, or Introduction to Web Development course, including JavaScript and also CSS. And then we're looking at other languages as well. For this tutorial in particular, the Spooky Manor, it is Python for this one, but we're looking at other languages for different tutorials. So you'll see them rotate through different languages. So we highlight that across the experience, but great question.
Well, sorry, can you hear me okay?
Sure, yeah. It came back from the ghosts.
Yeah, a ghost got me. Like, there was a complete power shortage here, and like my camera went off and like computer. So I don't know what happened, but sorry about that. I was able to just like get this part working. So now I'm on like the ghetto camera right here, not the fancy one. So it's the one right on the laptop.
No worries.
So you were answering like some questions from the chat, I see.
Yeah, we had some great educator feedback about coding tools in the classroom, and then also some asks about, is it strictly Python, or are we going to see JavaScript or other languages in the platform too? And I invite any comments that you want to throw in the chat too of languages you'd like to see or topics you'd like to see us cover. At any point within any of the tutorials, you can even put give feedback. There's a button, and provide us with any of the insights or ideas that you're thinking about that you'd love to see. Many of the things that we've put into the product come directly from folks that use it, right? That's one of the benefits of an excitement of being in a preview, is that we can tailor this experience too. So that's great.
Very cool. Now, is there an area where people could give feedback, or if they have ideas for games that they want to share with you guys?
Yeah, that's great. Right on our homepage, we have a link to give feedback. And anywhere within the game or within the Intro to Python course, there's a button that says give feedback that folks can provide that to. Also, as one reference, you can also email us, and I apologize for our live setup, but code-edu at microsoft.com. And again, I'll type this in so they can put that later, but it's again, code-edu at microsoft.com is another one of our email options that are available. So lots of ways that you can get in touch with us too.
Very awesome. Okay, so let's see. I don't see if there's anyone. Let's see if there's any other new questions. Can you show the difference? I don't know if you guys hit this already. Can you show the difference between online and standalone? Is there any difference really?
Was that a question that came up in the chat space?
Yeah.
Yeah, so great question. So, oh, yep, awesome. So we are actually in the process of working on the desktop edition of this. The primary driver for VS Code for EDU was to support education in an agnostic experience, right? Meaning that it doesn't matter if you're a Mac, a PC, or whatever your spaces that you're using. The next step we're taking is actually building out the connection to the desktop experience. I can't demo that for you right now, but that is one that we're actively working on to make support for the desktop experience too. But right now it's an online-based experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was the last question that I see. Like, if you have like some new fans out here, what's like the best way to get a hold of you? I know Debbie just threw up your email. Well, hold up, we got another comment. It looks like you use character graphics only at the end. How come?
Yeah, so we wanted to keep with the, I don't like the word retro because it dates myself as well by saying that ASCII art is retro, but we wanted to stick and lean in on that theme of doing a text-based game rather than using a graphical or some type of graphic representation of ghosts in that space. And so that's why we went in that. We also know there's students who are creating their own art at the end of the game. So they're creating houses, they're creating like people running. They had created loops where folks' legs move as they're running out of buildings. So we wanted it to be a starter, but with the hopes that folks would create their own resources at the end too. But great question, Ed. Thank you.
Yeah, there's something kind of nice also, like kind of like leaving you those parameters to be able to just be creative within, just using like characters. So there's something kind of cool about that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And you had mentioned, Reynald, on yours ways to get in touch. So I know in the comments box and in the description on this channel, there's my link to my GitHub handle is there, as well as code-edu is a great way through email if you have questions or follow-up. That way, anybody from our team can get in touch and provide follow-up on that, just in case there's some things that come through. But yeah, code-edu is a great email base to reach out to, or through our give feedback button. Any of the give feedback buttons come directly to our team, and we review every single one of those and consider them as part of the pipeline of what we're creating within the product. So we would welcome any and all feedback. Everything is a great idea for us to consider. So we appreciate it.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. So I think that is about it. Dippinger just asked, can I use the preview? I mean, you should, right? It's available, isn't it? The
Yeah,
preview?
anybody can use the preview. Yeah. So we have a link that's called Join the Pilot. That may be what Dipinder is thinking or seeing. Is it's for educators who want access to curriculum resources like to use in their classroom is the Join the Pilot. But anyone can log in and use this today. We call it a preview because we're making regular changes to the product each month and improving things that are within it. And it's regularly changing. So that's kind of why we put that out there. And just as a reminder, there's a link showing right now for the quick link to get to the Spooky Manor experience, the aka.ms/Spooky Manor. And the other plug, again, that we'll do kind of as a closure is aka.ms/vscode-edu. So VSC-edu, which is the quick link to get to all the VS Code curriculum for Introduction to Python, as well as our sandbox experience if you just want a Python editor where you can save your code and run it and debug it and provide an online experience for that. So those are two of our suggestion links.
Awesome. Well, cool. This has been great. A nice little throwback to the days that we had like a lot of these text-based games. So thanks so much for joining, Adam, and everybody. Thanks again for joining our stream. We also have our TikTok channel. Producer, if you could throw up some of our links there where they could check out some of our videos there. And in addition to TikTok, you already know about our YouTube channel. But join us again next week for another episode of our live stream. And enjoy your week. Thanks again, Adam.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Reynald. Have a wonderful afternoon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.